Happy New Year. Welcome to the first 2015 edition of Calhoun County's Most Wanted. I'm your host, Chris Wright, along with Calhoun County Sheriff Larry Amerson. Sheriff, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you, Chris, and thank you. It's a new year, new opportunities for our folks out here to help us fight crime in our county.
Some of us are glad to put 2014 in the past. Others had a good year.
Yeah.
Regardless, let's make the new year a good one.
Let's make a new year good, and to end out the 2014, you had 5 arrests this time, folks. Thank you very much. One was a recall warrant, thanks to you helping us locate them. And look at that total, 3,260 to start out 2015.
That is a great number. We're going to continue growing that. Hopefully, with this week's show, I'm sure we will, because we always have. I should knock on wood now. We've never in over 10 years had a week when we didn't have at least one arrest, thanks to the information from the viewers of this program. That's just awesome.
It is awesome. I used to be glad to think that, well, if we just got one, we'd be doing great. But they've far exceeded my expectations in that regard.
All right, well, let's talk about something specific. I think we've got a certain area that we need people to be on the lookout.
We do. In rural Calhoun County, we need your help in the southwestern part of the county, Mud Street, Fish Hatchery area. We've been having some burglaries and thefts. So we want, we want everybody to be aware of that. We want your eyes and your information.
And, you know, people almost always got a cell phone with them these days that's got a camera on it. Is it a good idea if you see something that you think, well, that just might not be right, to take a picture?
Absolutely. Take that picture and please download ICE Black Box. That image can be sent to our dispatch center. We can view it and help us identify cars or people. So it's free and it's a great tool for us.
It's a great app to have on your phone just for whenever you might need it. I was out shopping out at the Oxford Exchange a week or so ago, and we saw something that, I think this is probably nothing, but had a child and an adult, and the adult has got a jacket or something on top of the child, putting him into the back seat of the car. It was raining, probably just sheltering the kid from the rain, but I'm like, I can't go home and hear about a child being abducted and not have something. So I took a picture of the vehicle and got the tag number in a picture, and knew that if something had happened, we would at least have some information. And it's just always a good idea to monitor what's going on around you and have something tangible that you can share with the authorities if it turns out that it's needed.
Exactly right, Chris. A great example. You noticed something that looked odd, looked unusual, possibly suspicious, and you documented it. That documentation could have made a huge difference in solving a serious case. And that's what we ask you to do, folks. Use your resources, call in. We don't mind that it turned out to be no crime. We don't mind that it's not a big deal. But
we're glad when it's not a big deal.
Yes.
But if it is a big deal, we're going to be extra glad to have a little information.
In the neighborhood watch world, we say the best defense against crime is a nosy neighbor.
There you go. All right, well, we are going to take a quick break. When we come back, we'll have the first half of this week's lineup. See if you recognize somebody on Calhoun County's Most Wanted.
For emergency and non-emergency medical transportation, you can count on Anniston EMS.
Hello, I'm Johnny Warren with Anniston EMS, and we appreciate the opportunity to provide support for the Calhoun County's Most Wanted program. And I would like to remind everyone out there that if they need any medical transportation needs, please don't hesitate to call us.
Call Anniston EMS at 256-237-8572.
Big news for homebuyers searching through all those complicated mortgage options. AOD Federal Credit Union is now offering new, out-of-the-box mortgage solutions. Mortgage loan manager Jamie Bailey will help find the best rates and quickest approval for you. Conventional, FHA, VA, USDA, Jumbo, HARP, and more. Call Jamie Bailey at 256-241-8218. Out-of-the-box mortgage services. Reason number 4 that you belong with AOD Federal Credit Union. Federally insured by NCUA. All loans subject to credit approval. Certain restrictions apply. Equal housing lender.
Amazing Grace.
How sweet the sound that saved
a crackhead,
drug addict,
alcoholic, meth freak,
a wretch
like me.
I once was
homeless,
broken, sad,
just lost.
But now I am sober,
happy.
I'm found. Was blind, but now I see.
Every day, shattered lives are restored thanks to the goods you donate to the Salvation Army.
Hi, I'm Katina Houston with Family Links, and this is the Parenting Tip of the Week. Happy New Year and welcome to 2015. As with the beginning of every new year, we go about setting resolutions for change. Individual resolutions are easy to give up on because they're all about you in a world where you're focused on taking care of everyone else. So moms and families, why not try making resolutions as a family this year? They can be fun, painless, and are sure to benefit your entire household. Here are a few suggestions for the family. Unplug. These days we spend too much time on electronics. Set a goal of spending at least one day a week without your gadgets and instead enjoy the outdoors or have a board game marathon. Eat well. Commit to eating healthy meals as a family. Seeing their parents keep healthy eating habits can positively shape children's relationships with food. Exercise. We all know how easily resolutions to exercise can quickly fade within a few weeks. Make fitness fun and easy by doing family activities that get you moving. Read. How many books do you and your kids have on your shelves that you've never cracked open? And when's the last time you took a trip to your public library? Together, you can make this the year that you all become bookworms. Do chores. Having a system for household responsibilities spreads out the work instead of having it all fall on one person, you know who. Assigning chores and reminding kids to do them can feel like a chore in itself, but try keeping a chore list for kids to pick which chore they'll do each week. Get more sleep. You'd do anything for one more restful hour in bed, and your kids would fight you tooth and nail to stay up an hour later watching their favorite channel on TV. The fact is, you all need at least 8 hours of sleep to stay healthy and productive. Save money. Start the year off right by managing your debt and saving every way you know. Stick to a budget and teach your teens and younger children how to manage money too. Establishing good financial habits and goals with your kids will make them better with their money down the road. And last, for the parents, have more dates. When's the last time you went on a real date? The occasional date night will help you and your partner connect over wine glasses rather than sippy cups. So try to book a babysitter or helpful relative with some regularity, maybe a Friday night every 4 weeks. Your marriage or relationship will benefit from a little romance and quiet time. For more parenting tips like this, please contact Family Links at 256-820-5911.
And welcome to this week's edition of Calhoun County's Most Wanted. First up this week, James Bonner. Mr. Bonner, last known to be living in Piedmont. He's wanted for failure to appear in possession and receipt of a controlled substance and failure to appear on illegal possession of prescription drugs. And meet April Tinsley. Miss Tinsley, last known to be living in Gadsden. She's wanted for failure to appear on possession and receipt of a controlled substance and illegal possession of prescription drugs. And this is Malik Rush. Mr. Rush, last known to be living in Anniston. He's wanted for failure to appear on possession of marijuana first and bond revocations on possession of marijuana first and carrying a pistol without a permit. And meet Brian Reeves. Mr. Reeves, last known to be living in Anniston. He's wanted on bond revocations for possession and receipt of a controlled substance and receiving stolen property second. And take a look at Kevin Bush. Mr. Bush, last known to be living in Anniston, he's wanted on probation violation for theft of property first. And this is Bernard Mays. Mr. Mays, last known to be living in Anniston, he's wanted for failure to appear on illegal possession of prescription drug. And last up for the first half this week, Jason Odell. Mr. Odell, last known to be living in Anniston, he's wanted for failure to appear on manufacture of drug paraphernalia. And that's it for the first half of our lineup. Stay tuned for the second half later in the show.
All right, welcome back to Calhoun County's Most Wanted. We'll have the second half of the lineup here in just a few moments. Sheriff, one of the things that I know you're proud of at the Calhoun County Sheriff's Office is the activity on the Facebook page. Calhoun County Sheriff's Office, I think, has the largest following of any sheriff's office in the state of Alabama. And Councilwoman Millie Harris is joining us from Anniston. I believe the Anniston Police Department has the largest following of any police department in the state of Alabama.
Absolutely, 27,000 followers. And they do a magnificent job, and as we all know, social media can be a great tool if it's used appropriately. But before we get into that, I really want to say how proud I am of our Anniston Police Department. These young people, I say young, most of them are young, we have 85 police officers. They put their lives on the line for the rest of us on a consistent basis. Unfortunately, many times all they hear, are the negative comments. They do not receive the praise that they should get for what they do for the rest of us. People do not hesitate to call them in times of need, but yet they're very, very quick to criticize them. And so I do understand, possibly in the past, maybe some people got into law enforcement as they have in the military or any other profession. And of course, people may make mistakes, but I think the mistakes have been few and far between, and I think that they get magnified, and the great job that these people are doing is overshadowed oftentimes by the few mistakes the exceptions, the mistakes that are made.
And Sheriff, when you're in public service, it's going to be expected that you're held up to a little bit higher level of accountability, but at the same time, you do need to be shown a little bit of appreciation.
We do, Chris, and obviously those folks who are doing this job, it's a difficult, stressful job, and we all know that. And the folks that we're dealing with, the events that are causing us to interact with that citizen is a huge deal in their lives. Somebody breaks into your home, somebody has a family crisis, whether it's anger, whether it's criminal, whatever it is, that's a big deal, and it's an amazing thing. So we deal with those every day, but the guys that do it, the men and women, they do a wonderful job.
You're more likely to be invited to a spousal abuse than to a wedding ceremony, so
yes.
That's the type of interaction that you're going to get. But
and every law enforcement agency has to face those issues every day.
And the way that the community interacts with the law enforcement agencies really is a very important thing. As we've seen in the news here recently, it can impact so many different things and so many different ways. We need to make sure that that communication keeps flowing. Whether it's something negative or positive that you have to say, we need to have it communicated.
Absolutely. I do believe communication is key. And as far as Facebook social media, I've just mentioned that we have 27,000 followers on Facebook. And it's a great tool to get information out to the community. But it's also a great tool for the community members to interact with our police department. They can go online and they can ask any question, or they can give any particular tip that they want to the police department, and they should get a response because it is monitored on a consistent basis. And there is another tool that's come to light recently, and I noticed that you have, Chris, subscribed to it, and it's called Nextdoor. And this is an app that can go on your iPhone, and you can encourage your neighbors to join a Nextdoor.
It's kind of a social network for just a very limited area. Instead of being the whole world, it's just your community.
That's exactly correct. I'm a member of the group that is the Tyler Hill, Rocky Hollow, Hillier High community, and I just saw it expanded to Golden Springs. But you know, Sheriff, what you said about nosy neighbors, that is the best tool we can have, are people who will, you know, is there a car going up and down the street that you haven't seen before? Put it, you know, call the police or put it down. Don't hesitate. And like you said, they would rather hear from you than not. So be a nosy neighbor. Post something that you might see, and so everyone can be alert. But if there's a question about its accuracy, we don't want to create a hysteria. We don't want people to get, you know, scared and afraid when there's really not a good reason to be afraid. When we are trying to create jobs in Calhoun County and to recruit industry here, they look at those factors. Are their employees going to be safe? And we want to make sure that whatever we're putting out on social media or on any of these sites, that it's always accurate. So if there is a question that anyone has, they are welcome to either call the police department, put it on Facebook, ask the police, is this accurate? Recently in our neighborhood, we had an incident, or we've had several incidents of cars being broken into. And what I found out from the police this has really been a learning experience for me working with the city. 90% of these incidents could be stopped if people would just lock their cars. Because people, they rummage through, they see 10 cars lined up and they find one door unlocked. Yes, they're going to the one with the door unlocked. And recently someone had a brick thrown through a glass window. Well, that person had a container in the car. And
Something
they had
that was
car,
visible, they could see that they wanted to get to.
Exactly.
So just think about it and put a little bit of thought into how you are leaving things out there to be seen, and you can prevent a lot of these things. That's right. We need to take a quick break, but we want to talk to you about some more things as well.
Okay, great.
We'll be back with the second half of this week's lineup and more with Councilwoman Millie Harris from Anniston on Calhoun County's Most Wanted.
Big news for homebuyers searching through all those complicated mortgage options. AOD Federal Credit Union is now offering new, out-of-the-box mortgage solutions. Mortgage loan manager Jamie Bailey will help find the best rates and quickest approval for you. Conventional, FHA, VA, USDA, jumbo, HARP, and more. Call Jamie Bailey at 256-241-8218. Out-of-the-box mortgage services. Reason number 4 that you belong with AOD Federal Credit Union. Federally insured by NCUA. All loans subject to credit approval. Certain restrictions apply. Equal housing lender.
It's the low monthly payment sale going on at Sunny King Honda all month long. And we also have great interest rates. Lease a new 14 Civic LX for only $159 a month. Lease a new 15 Accord LX for only $209 a month. Interest rates as low as 0.9% for 60 months on 15 Accords, 14 Civics, and 14 CRVs. And don't forget to check out Sunny King Honda and all our great used cars. Sunny King Honda exit 188 off I-20, where customer satisfaction is king.
For emergency and non-emergency medical transportation, you can count on Anniston EMS.
Hello, I'm Johnny Warren with Anniston EMS, and we appreciate the opportunity to provide support for the Calhoun County's Most Wanted program. And I would like to remind everyone out there that if they need any medical transportation needs, please don't hesitate to call us.
Call Anniston EMS at 256-237-8572.
And welcome to the second half of our lineup. First up this half, Terry Riggins. Mr. Riggins, last known to be living in Anniston, he's wanted for failure to appear on possession and receipt of a controlled substance and failure to pay child support, a deadbeat dad. And meet Jeremy Hinson. Mr. Hinson, last known to be living in Fort Payne, he's wanted for writing multiple bad checks. And this is LaQuentin McCormick. Mr. McCormick, last known to be living in Anniston, he's wanted for failure to appear on possession of marijuana second. And take a look at Kendrell Williams. Mr. Williams, last known to be living in East Aboga, he's wanted for failure to appear on use and possession of drug paraphernalia. And meet Jerome Satcher. Mr. Satcher, last known to be living in Anniston, he's wanted for failure to appear on possession of marijuana second. And this is Shannon Scott. Mr. Scott, last known to be living in Anniston, he's wanted for failure to appear on domestic violence third. And last up this week, Jennifer Tillery. Miss Tillery, last known to be living in Anniston, she's wanted for failure to appear on use and possession of drug paraphernalia. And that's our lineup this week. If you know the whereabouts of any of these folks, please give us a call at Crime Stoppers, 256-238-1414.
We'll have the Crime Stoppers segment of the show and our Crazy Criminal of the Week coming up in just a few minutes, but right now we're talking with Millie Harris, City Councilwoman for the City of Anniston. And we've been talking about the Anniston Police Department and some of the ways that they're interacting with the community. And we actually have a lot of involvement from the police department in things that are kind of behind the scenes that people may not know about.
Absolutely, Chris. We have a community relations officer, Lieutenant Curtis McCants. And if there's a neighborhood meeting, for example, the Rocky Hollow neighborhood has gotten very involved at taking over their neighborhood and stopping crime, and they're being very effective. And he goes to these meetings and he interacts through to share information. He is the liaison between the department and the community. He also visits the schools and talks with the students on character building, mentoring, and community watch programs. And one thing that I really want to emphasize is that parents can do a lot to help their children have trust in our police. Do not, if the child does something that's inappropriate, don't punish them. We'll say, I'm going to tell the police on you. Please don't do that. The students need to learn to trust our police.
We
And
need
we're-
to think of the police as someone who is there to help us and serve us, and not somebody that's going to punish us all the time.
Exactly, and I understand, our Chief Denham tells me this happens every day. They have to try to undo what some parents have said to scare their children about the police, and that does not need to happen. Children need to realize they are our friends. And Lieutenant McCants also does Captain McGruff, and he goes into these preschool programs and tries to establish this rapport with children at a preschool age. He also coaches the football and the basketball teams. So he is doing an awful lot to help, establish the relationship within this community, and we're proud of it.
All right. So what about the Citizens Advisory Council?
That is a council that's an advisory role of people from all over the city. From every single ward, we all appointed certain people to be on this advisory committee. And they interact with our police department. And they're in the organizational phase right now, but it is to increase our communication with the community and to help the police and to help the community know what's going on. In the past, maybe there's been a lot of questions as to, what happens with so-and-so? Was so-and-so arrested or whatever? And so this is going to be a very, very good tool once it's organized to increase the communications, as we all know that is crucial for our police and our law enforcement.
Yeah, the police chief can't go to every single home himself and have that conversation with every citizen, but the conversation does need to be had with the community.
Absolutely, and it's very, very important to have a diverse group of people, which we do, to interact with the police department. I also wanted to mention something that's county-wide, and I know Sheriff Amerson is aware, or he's is a partner in this, the Junior Police Academy. And this has been going on for 3 to 4 years, and there are 20 to 30 targeted students in the senior high school. They have to be recommended. This is not a babysitting service, but this is an opportunity for young people to learn about law enforcement, because it is a calling, and we want good quality people entering law enforcement. So that to me, that's also another great tool. Our police department does an awful lot. They participate in the Special Olympics. If you go to a race, I remember when a couple of years ago, I tried to run with them. They left me in the dust, I might say, in the Woodstock race. The mayor and I got, Chief Denham invited us, gave us a T-shirt. We didn't make it very far, and we ended up walking part of it, but we did run with them for a little while. They have to be in great shape, so they participate in many of these athletic events. And this Christmas, they all had a contest of growing a beard. Each police officer they wanted their only opportunity to grow a beard. I see you've got facial hair, Chris. And so they
Barely.
they had to pay $25 to grow a beard, but all the money went to a needy family. They had a box of toys for children, DHR children. And so people don't realize that this group is doing awesome things in our community. Do I have time to say what we can do for them?
We've got about 30 seconds left.
Okay. There is a fund that Jim Robbins with Wells Fargo has started, the APD Police Department Appreciation Fund. This is to give officers, the police force, barbecues, anything to increase their morale, because we need to do all we can to say thank you. And if you're if you want to donate to this fund, it will be there's a P.O. box, and you will see it in just a second. And you can take goodies to the police department. There it is. And just the most important thing, thank a police officer.
Absolutely. Well, Millie, it's good to see you again. Thank you for being here to represent the Anniston Police Department.
Thank you so much. My pleasure. Thank you.
We love to hear about things that are going on.
Great. Thank you so much.
We'll be back in just a couple of minutes with the Crime Stoppers segment of the show and our Crazy Criminal of the Week on Calhoun County's Most Wanted.
It's the low monthly payment sale going on at Sunny King Honda all month long. And we also have great interest rates. Lease a new 14 Civic LX for only $159 a month. Lease a new 15 Accord LX for only $209 a month. Interest rates as low as 0.9% for 60 months on 15 Accords, 14 Civics, and 14 CRVs. And don't forget to check out Sunny King Honda and all our great used cars. Sunny King Honda exit 188 off I-20, where customer satisfaction is king.
For emergency and non-emergency medical transportation, you can count on Anniston EMS.
Hello, I'm Johnny Warren with Anniston EMS, and we appreciate the opportunity to provide support for the Calhoun County's Most Wanted program. And I would like to remind everyone out there that if they need any medical transportation needs, please don't hesitate to call us.
Call Anniston EMS at 256-237-8572.
Amazing grace.
How sweet the sound that saved
A crackhead.
Drug addict, alcoholic, meth freak,
A wretch.
like me.
I once was.
Homeless.
Broken. Sad.
Just lost. But now I am sober.
Happy.
I'm found. Was blind, but now I see.
Every day, shattered lives are restored thanks to the goods you donate to the Salvation Army.
And welcome to the Crime Stoppers portion of our show, where we ask you to give our investigators a hand with some of these cases. So, first up on your caseload this week, on December 27th, this residence on Chakalaka Road was broken into. They got away with some currency. And sometime between December 6th and December 26th, several car radiators and catalytic converters were stolen from this residence on Bonds Road in Ohatchee. And between November 15th and December 10th, various fishing tackle was stolen from this residence on Llama Road in Jacksonville. Last up on your caseload, on December 28th, a steel chainsaw, steel blower, weed eaters, and tools were stolen from this residence on Fish Hatchery Road in East Aboga. And that is your Crime Stoppers cases this week. If you have any information on these cases, please give Crime Stoppers a call at 256-1414. Remember, we want your information and not your name.
Stupid! You're so stupid!
Our crazy criminal this week, Sheriff, would you believe that he didn't have money for his court fees and such, so he offered the judge his sneakers instead?
Well, I hope they were a good pair.
They were a good pair, cost him about $80, and the judge accepted. Can you believe that? It was actually kind of the judge's idea. It was Jason Duvall. He was in the courtroom of Douglas Stoddart, and he didn't have the money to pay his $450 court fees that he owed. And the judge said, well, they can either send you to jail or we can get creative. What can you do? He said, well, how about these Nikes that I got for Christmas? And he handed those over to the judge as collateral. And the judge says, I believe you'll come back. And
Heard of the shirt off your back, but the shoes off your feet. If it works, that's good. If he's accountable.
I've never heard of that before, but I'm sure you're all for keeping people out of jail that don't need to be there.
No, and it's an issue of fine, and they don't have the money, certainly having a way to allow them to work it off, if you will, to make some resources available to get it done. And I applaud the judge for trying.
Absolutely. That's all the time that we have for this week. We appreciate you tuning in. If you missed the lineup earlier in the show, you can find that on the Facebook page, the Calhoun County Sheriff's Office Facebook page, and see if you recognize somebody. We will be looking for you again next week, but hopefully not in the lineup here on Calhoun County's Most Wanted.